You're listening to a bonus episode of the Jurassic Park podcast. Enjoy.
Something has survived. Will you? News from Kenner. Jurassic Park 3 Spino vs. T-Rex game. The fiercest fight ever. Batteries not included.
Imagine its adventure.
The dinosaurs are on a rampage, and only the JP team is tough enough to stop them. It's Jurassic Park, the game. All the excitement of the movie, but this time they're after you. But your Matchbox Mercedes traps one. It's happening, but only at Jurassic Park.
Batteries not included for Indominus Rex.
You can tell it's Mattel. It's swell.
Hello and welcome to a bonus episode of the Jurassic Park podcast. I am your host, Brad Jost, and today I am joined by Aaron Beyer, and we are going to be looking at a few of the Mattel and Matchbox toys from the Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom toy line. We're going to do a little review for you, look at these items, and kind of compare them to some of the other ones, and just give you our overall thoughts, because it's probably the first time that we're doing that, really. We've put together a bunch of videos unboxing and looking at them in box and doing toy hunts and stuff like that, but right now it's time to get these things opened up, dive into them, and let you know what we think. So, Aaron, what's going on? How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. Welcome to the new world, man, with the Mattel era.
Yeah, dude, it's a good time. I mean, these toys are very exciting. I am so pumped to finally have really great toys yet again, and really great toys that probably are better than anything we've ever had.
That's a gutsy statement, man.
It is. I'm sticking with it though, because I think it's pretty accurate.
I think I'm not going to say that they're all the best we've ever had, but they are on par for sure. I feel like with the old Kenner stuff, and a lot of them supplement that collection really nicely. I don't want to go too much into it because I feel like we have maybe plans to do broader conversations later. But I've not been disappointed by this collection.
For sure. So today we're going to be looking at the Jurassic Park Jeep and Dimorphodon. We've got the Mercenary and the Carnotaurus. So two pretty cool items. Maybe the third one not so much, but it's all right. It's still good. But I'm excited to dive into these. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it. So up first, we've got the Matchbox Jurassic World Jeep Wrangler and Rescue Net. Right now on Amazon retailing for $15.90, so that's actually a pretty good price, I think, for this car.
Yeah, man. I think overall a lot of these prices are very good, and that's one of those surprising prices that I'm good with. I love it.
Yeah, I think at $15, this actually prices the same as the Bush Devil Tracker from the Kenner line back in the 90s, which is the equivalent, the red and brown Jeep. But this one comes with a dinosaur, and in my opinion, I think a better weapon than the Bush Devil Tracker. And I do appreciate that it's really accurate to Jeep Wrangler. They actually have like the licensing this time around to actually use Jeep Wranglers, which is really nice.
Yeah, man, that makes a big difference. How accurate these things are and just how well they function. And yeah, I love that it does include a dinosaur. And that function is pretty cool. I like it a lot. It does remind me a lot of the old stuff in a way.
Yeah, this one is the version that is kind of rusted out, so it's definitely the Jurassic World version of this Jeep. And I don't remember exactly what number it was that the kids drove in Jurassic World. This one does not have a working winch like the Legacy Edition does. But one of the things that frustrates me is that both of them are the number 18. I get that one is supposed to be Legacy and one is supposed to be old and rusted, but it kind of would have been nice to get two separate numbers on those. Just in case, I don't know. It seems weird if you're a kid playing one story, right, and you've got two number 18s, but that's so nitpicky.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are bugged by that. It doesn't necessarily bother me. I'm pretty cool with it. But yeah, if you want like that fleet of Jeeps, and there is like, 2 or 3 different models, you do want kind of like, the functionality of having multiple Jeeps. When I'm with a kid, or not, when I was a kid and I was playing with these, I would have said, I want number 18, I want number 10, or I want 12, or, something like that. I think that would have been a great aspect, but here we are, number 18.
Yeah, I think you mentioned like the fleet, and I feel like 18 is actually even kind of high for what size Jurassic Park was. And is 18 specifically referenced in the movies? It must be. They wouldn't have thrown 18 on there. I'm not too familiar with the numbers on, in any given scene in the films. But yeah, it would have been cool to kind of have like, a dirty number 18, a clean number 12. Each one maybe having a different weapon or something like that. But, who knows? Mattel seems to be, aggressively taking on this franchise. So maybe we'll get more numbers in the future.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. It like I said, it doesn't bug me too much, but the detail here is good enough for me. I do like that dirty aspect to it. There is a clean version, but this one's the dirty one. It almost looks like, I know this is all like this grill thing that's up on the top near the window. It looked painted on, but it actually is like really there. A lot of this stuff looks painted, but it actually, you can feel it. Not some of this stuff. This is all painted, all these marks and stuff like that. But the door hinges, the door handle, the logo is a sticker. Let's see. Yeah, but all these hinges are all like legit. You can feel them and everything. So that's really cool. Yeah, like you said, the winch doesn't really do anything there, but that's fine.
Yeah, and you mentioned like a sticker. It actually would have been cool to maybe have like stickers for the numbers, so you could really make any number you wanted on the Jeep. But the net launching capability on this thing, it launches really far. It's got really good distance for such an inexpensive toy.
I know. I'm putting it together right now. So let me set up my Dimorphodon over there. Let's see how far that we can get this thing to go. I know it's like I never understand how far it'll go. So, missed. I'm like terrible at aiming. I don't know if you've tried that. I'm sure you have, trying to capture your dinosaurs. Oh no, it just went down the crack. Perfect. Oh, this thing's hilarious. But it has this rubber band, so the way it works is there's a rubber band on the top that this bar kind of hits on there, so it just propels it off. So that's really awesome.
Yeah, and I think, as far as detailing goes, it's got detailing on the bottom. Even though Hasbro is doing the main line, this is actually produced by Matchbox, and I feel like, which is, I'm assuming, a subsidiary of Mattel.
I think you said Hasbro, but yeah.
Mattel. I meant Mattel. Sorry. It's been a long 25 years, with Hasbro. But yeah, so Matchbox actually is producing these vehicles. They've got the detailing on the bottom. They've obviously got the licensing, for Jeep. And yeah, I just think they did a really nice job with this, and it was nice to see that it comes with a dinosaur. And I think for that price point, you actually get more with this than we did with the Bush Devil Tracker, in the Kenner days. And this Dimorphodon, it is the standard attack pack Dimorphodon. I kind of wish they would have given us a different color variant, exclusive to this car. But that's okay. It's always good to have one or two of the same animal, like you mentioned, a fleet or like a herd or something like that. But yeah, what do you think of this dinosaur?
I like it. I've never had one of these before, and it's very cool. I love it. The thing is really detailed. I've never actually had, when I say one of these. Oh, you know what? I did. I had that blue pterodactyl back in the day from the
first film.
Yeah. That thing was great, but what I love about this is how functional it is. All the wings move, and they're all on different joints, so they can go, all over the place, these wings. It's perfect.
Yeah, I've got 3 or 4 of these guys on my desk, and it's kind of fun to have them each in, different poses, and, they're up on my computer monitor looking down. And so they're all just kind of like freaking out, kind of like when the Indominus breaks into the aviary in the 4th film.
Yes.
So I really like this guy. I really like the design.
The way the mouth moves is perfect. The neck moves, and this thing, like, it can do like this, like, really hunched over, look here, or it can be pretty stretched out and like in flight. It's awesome. Yeah, exactly.
Hunched over kind of has like this gothic type look to it. Or they can be all like riled up and on the attack.
Yeah, I do love that, and that's a great feature of all these Mattel toys, is that the mouths are wide open. And this is not a Mattel toy. This is Matchbox, I guess, but very cool. I love it a lot.
All right.
Actually, no, on here. I guess Matchbox is a subsidiary of Mattel, so it's kind of all the same, I would assume, right? So, yeah, on the wing here, it does say Made in China, 2017 Mattel. And what else does it have? It has some sort of numbers, TM, and Universal and Amblin. So I don't know if you can pick that up in the video here, but it's there. And it has the scan function, so you can scan this, put it in your Jurassic Facts app. And yeah, I mean, the detail on this thing is insane. Like, it actually looks like a leathery, wing. It's got this like hair and stuff on the back. Very detailed. I just love it. These are like razor sharp little teeth. I mean, they're not going to hurt you, but they look super sharp. They don't feel it, but that's very cool.
Yeah, it's nice to see that Mattel is kind of coming back to sharp corners. I feel like that was kind of something that Hasbro teetered away from, even to the point where like the Triceratops figure in the last line was fairly small, with smaller horns. And yeah, like, without going too into detail about the other figures, there definitely are sharp corners on all these figures. So it's kind of cool that they're sticking with the actual look of the creatures in the film rather than just trying to make a super dumbed down safe version that kind of looks like what was in the film.
Yeah, and I do have one of the old Jeep-ish ones, like the one from The Lost World.
The Jeep from The Lost World.
Yeah, it's one of the tracker vehicles from the I forget what it's called, what the actual name of this vehicle is here. It's the one that's the extended cab, the thing that kind of goes out on the side.
Yeah, okay.
So I just wanted to bring that into at least our video, because we are doing this via video as well. And I just kind of wanted to talk about the difference here. It's the old one is slightly bigger because the toys were slightly bigger. So, I mean, it has that kind of going for it, which is different. But the size scale on all of these items are very different from the old to the new. But it is so close. It is very close to that. And I love it. I just think it looks comparable. Like, I love this old Jeep. It's very sturdy. And, I mean, yeah, mine's fallen apart here since, but that's fine. But, they both roll pretty well. And this thing it holds up, is what I'm trying to get at. It still holds up to this old stuff that we all cherish and love so much. So that's kind of why I wanted to point it out. I don't have the old Jeep anymore. I think I destroyed that one. I destroyed the Explorer. So I'm running low on vehicles.
Oh, man, you destroyed all the really expensive ones to get now on eBay.
Yeah, and actually recently I threw out that one, I don't even remember what it's called, the one with the two yellow lifts on the side that threw the net. I threw that one out recently because it was pretty
You
destroyed.
Threw it out?
Yes, dude, I did. There was no salvaging it.
No, you use it as something that's been destroyed.
No,
Brad, there's always use for destroyed vehicles.
It was too messed up. So why don't we move on here to this mercenary? I have it right here with me, so let's put it on display here. It's he's just a standard guy. He doesn't stand very well, but yeah, come on, man. Standard mercenary that will not stand for the life of me. But what do you think about these human figures, or specifically this mercenary?
Specifically this mercenary, I don't know, because I don't know, if there are any in the new films. I'm not a huge fan of like mercenaries in the Jurassic franchise. Like even in the third movie when the army comes in, I'm like, ugh. I think it's just because it's unbelievable to me that an army can't defeat dinosaurs. So every time, because they're animals, right? Like, the idea that like the T-Rex rampaged through San Diego in the Lost World for a solid evening is just like mind-boggling to me, because I'm like, well, just bring it down, man. Like bring in a truck and shoot this thing. Like, yeah, it's not a monster. It's an animal. Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a big game tracker or anything, so I don't really know. But this mercenary's fine. In general, I do wish that they were able to stick with the scale of the old Kenner stuff, because I think that would lead into a little more of a seamless collection. I understand why they're not, because they wanted to keep the dinosaurs at a specific price point. Price wise, the Mattel website has this guy listed at $7.99, and I think that's a pretty fair price USD to ask for these human figures. But yeah, this guy's great. I think the best part about him is his weapon. It's the Jurassic World like shock stick. And it's got this really cool like clear electric blue shot coming out at the end of it. And honestly, I would love to have a bunch of these guys and eventually paint them up as ACU troopers.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't mind having like a random assortment of different kind of characters, you know? Yeah, we all love our, you know, mainstays with, you know, Claire or Owen or Grant or Ian Malcolm, stuff like that. But in this case, I like having a character that you can just demolish. You know, you can put him in the car, fly off a cliff. You can have him get eaten by the colossal T-Rex or, you know, any of the other dinosaurs. He can get mauled by Velociraptor. He's that kind of guy that you would just sacrifice, you know? And I need those characters for me when I was a kid playing with these toys. I think that's spot on what you need. And I do love this you know, stick here. I think it's fun. You know, the old toys had very outlandish you know, weapons and
crazy
stuff like
weapons.
that. Yeah, like way bigger, way crazier than any of this thing. I think Alan Grant had a nuclear bomb or something like that, right? Didn't he have like that little nuke bomb
Alan
or something?
Grant had a nuclear bomb. Muldoon had a bazooka or like a missile launcher. Ellie had a giant grappling hook, which she's not scaling walls, so I don't really know exactly what that's going to do. You know, but yeah, they all had crazy, you know, Saturday morning cartoon style weapons. And this one kind of brings it back a little bit to a little bit more of a normal style weapon. I don't know what I'm a bigger fan of. I tend to lean towards crazy when it comes to the toys, but you know, to each their own. This is still a really cool prop.
Yeah, it's normal-ish, but since it has that blue shock kind of coming out of it, it looks a little outlandish, but I love that about it. And I think it's a perfect little weapon that you can break free from the guy's hand. The dinosaurs can eat the guy real easily. You know, any dinosaur can pretty much get away from that thing, especially when there's only one guy using it, you know? But as far as the figure's concerned, it's fine. I mean, I have no gripes too bad with this guy. I think he's okay. I want to get a closer look at him, but you know, he's painted all right. I mean, some of the paint jobs around the eyes have been a little iffy because it's got these sunglasses on, right? So sometimes the eye color or the skin color is painted on the sunglasses. It's not a deal breaker for me, to be honest. I don't really mind too much if the paint jobs are off in that sense. When the eyes, when there's like no sunglasses, because he has the sunglasses on, if there's no sunglasses and the eyes are painted weird, that always like turns me off. But as far as the sunglasses go, it's fine for me. I have no other issues with it, with the paint job, really. I think it looks fine.
Yeah, you know, to that note, a lot of people have been posting like, oh, the paint job is off, or there's a little bit of a smear here, or like a defect here. And you know, I get it. I saw one photo where like the eyes of like an Allosaurus were like down its neck or something. Like the decal completely missed. But like honestly, these are consumer level toys. These are meant to be played with, and these are probably going to wind up in a lot of resale shops, eBay. They're going to wind up in a secondary seller's market, probably not worth a ton of money in the future. You know, some of the bigger dinosaurs maybe, but you know, you can go on eBay right now and get human figures for $5-6 a pop from the Kenner era. You know, so you know, these figures aren't things where I'm looking for the paint to be 100% pristine. These are consumer level toys. Every little defect kind of gives each one its own little bit of character. You know, if I was spending $900 on a statue, it needs to look exactly like it does on the website. But these are, again, consumer level, $7.99. You know, what can you complain about as far as like slightly off paint applications?
Yeah, and I don't. Yeah, that's exactly it. $7.99 is such a fantastic price. Yeah, I wish they were a little bit bigger like the old ones, but like you said, they're saving money on, you know, this aspect, but you know, really paying off on the other bigger items. But this is great. I do have an issue, though, with the amount of articulation. That's my only problem with these 3 3/4 inch ones, because a lot of these, you know, companies are doing these now, like with Hasbro and Star Wars and all that. There's so much articulation and they're so small that I feel like once you articulate them a little bit too much after a while, it'll definitely lose it, and the legs will be super wobbly and all that. But again, at the same time, I kind of admire my old toys because of that reason. You know, my old Alan Grant has like the super wobbly legs. I mean, even right now, this guy has one wobbly leg. And I have not played with them. I've just had them sitting here on my desk. This is the most I've, articulated these legs at all. So it is interesting that I think these will wear down quicker than some of the old bulkier toys.
Maybe, my human figures, they're not going to get as much play as they did, obviously, 25 years ago. So I don't know if I'm going to be too disappointed. Now, if I was a kid, yeah, that would be a bummer. I do like, though, that unlike, the G.I. Joes from the 80s and 90s, they don't have like a rubber band waist. So there's not going to be any rotting there. I do like that on all the figures, any joints that they had to create, they tried to hide with uneven seams. So, for instance, I don't have my Mercenary here, but the Alan Grant figure has a nice wrinkle at the knee of the pants. It's the same thing with the Mercenary. He's got his pants are kind of rolled over his knee a little bit. The only reason that you really see joints in the arm is because he doesn't have any clothing covering his arms. I feel like to make them articulate at this range, they at least tried to hide the seams, and that's on all the dinosaurs, all the humans. They really took care to try to make seams look a little messy rather than straight edge.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the seams have been hidden pretty well. I use that word cautiously because you can tell where the arms are because they're naked arms. They're not clothed arms. But as far as everything else goes, they're fantastic. And the amount, I do appreciate the amount of articulation. I think it's pretty fantastic how much they can move, and it does help for playing. I think if you kind of want these figures to move a lot, and the old ones didn't necessarily move a lot. I do have. I wanted to compare him to Dieter Stark. I feel like he's very similar in style. They're both kind of mercenaries, like we were talking about before with the Game Trail kind of guys. They do look slightly similar in their clothing and whatnot. They both have these vest, ammo cartridges or whatever you want to call it, holsters and all that stuff. So they're very similar. Dieter Stark is a bit bigger and bulkier because he is, what is that? 4 inch or something like that toy? I forget what.
I think they were standard 5 inches.
5 inches. Okay. So yeah, there's that, but I do think it's a good downsizing of the product. I think they did a great job making it just a little bit smaller.
Yeah, one thing I appreciate about all the figures, human and dinosaur alike, they've given the legs motion in the X, and that's if you're looking at the figure, right, you're looking face on, you're looking at the Z, and then up and down will be the Y, and the left and right is the X. And what's nice about motion in the X is that you're able to kind of stand them up a little bit better, because if they need a little bit of leverage or their weight needs to shift to one side, you can kind of use that X orientation to kind of pivot and kind of hinge. And so these human figures stand up really well, even for how small they are. They stand on their own really well. And then you can get kind of cool poses with them as far as let's say somebody was holding a flare or something like that, and you could have them waving it maybe and not need to support them so much. They do have the nice pegs in the feet so they can attach to vehicles. I know that the big gyrosphere launcher has the pegs on it for characters to stand on. You can also buy little stands, for them to connect to. Not made by Mattel, but you can buy those on eBay or something. So just really nice detail on these human figures. Again, I wish they were the same size as the Kenner stuff, but that's literally my only complaint about this entire line is that I wish the humans were a little bit bigger. But I'll take this whole thing as a win.
Yeah, I think when you take the old stuff out of the mix, I think these things work really well, size-wise, because I think quality-wise they are spectacular. And I've got the guy right now in the Jeep showing, just how well they fit in there. A lot of the old toys, you actually had a hard time getting them in some of the vehicles because there wasn't as much articulation and whatnot. But these guys are fantastic, and he's in a cool pose right now, just kind of chilling, like he's going to the beach or something. He's got his arm out the Jeep. It looks pretty cool. It looks comfy, so I love how it fits in there, and you can fit, two people in the front, maybe two in the back. I don't know. That might be a little pushing it there, but I do love how well they fit in these Jeeps.
you talk about taking Kenner out of the equation, and we do have to remember, for some people, that is very much the reality.
Oh yeah,
there are definitely kids out there that these are their first set of Jurassic Park toys, and I feel like this is if you have access to the legacy stuff at Target, and the battle damage stuff at Walmart in the States, this is a fantastic beginning collection. Hopefully they're able to go on for years and years and keep producing other legacy figures, and hopefully they'll be available in other places. Since we're on the Merc, I have noticed, and I see why, that human figures were not produced. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but when you're at the store, I don't know, I feel like it's great that we have human figures, but it's almost like Mattel needs to, if there's one thing that now I feel like Hasbro kind of did right, was during the Jurassic Park 3 era, they started packaging humans with dinosaurs. I feel like that's going to be, at this point, the best way to sell humans. Right now, the only thing in my location is 2 Owens, a Claire with the gyrosphere, and the Mercenary. And in Canada, they're a bit more expensive. I want to say the humans are like $12. And it's like, well, $12 on a human, or like, just an extra 10 on a full-size dinosaur. So, I think the humans are going to have a little bit of a tough time selling. But hopefully in the States at $7.99, it's a steal.
Yeah, I think it's a steal. I've been picking up a few humans here and there, but I saw this guy and I had a hard time even passing on some random dude, I would have picked up any of the other ones for sure real easily, but this guy, I'm like, you know what? I could bypass him, but I'm not gonna, because he's awesome too. He's a great toy. He goes with everything. And like I said, I'm not really the one playing with these at the moment. I'm saving them around for my kid. I think he's going to have a blast with them in a few years. But I do like them, and I do appreciate them for what they are. And like I said, he fits in the Jeep so well. And he looks well next to the dinosaurs. It all works out really well. But why don't we move on here to the big item here, the Carnotaurus.
This is such an awesome figure.
Really is, dude. It really is pretty insane. I love this one so much. I think this is one of those ones that you're just like, oh my god, they're making a new toy line. Oh my god, they're making a Carnotaurus. Oh my god, I need that right now. That's the first one on everybody's list, I feel like.
Yeah, this is actually the first I picked up in this line. It's the first figure I got. It's the Jurassic World Action Attack Carnotaurus figure. Now on Amazon US, they're sold out. I do believe they retail for about $20, I want to say.
Yeah, I believe that's what it was.
Yeah, which is a great price. There's no audio on this one, but it does have this really cool motion where if you click the button on the back, the head jets forward and snaps. And I think that's just so cool.
Yeah.
And what's great is that, I was a huge advocate for, Jurassic World 2, please give us red and black Carnotaurus as the Kenner line. And lo and behold, the trailer comes out and there's red and black Carnotaurs. And then the toy matches what's in the movie, and it's almost like this blissful realization of one of my favorite toys I never had it as a kid, but one of the coveted toys as a child, that black, devil horn Carnotaurus. This is kind of a more modern realization of that. This has less of a cartoony look than that one had.
Oh, for sure.
That one had kind of like a Saturday morning cartoon feel to it. This one is very real, like the Crash McCreary style. It looks very close to the one on film, and it's got, again, that X motion in the legs. It's got a nice standard style pose. I love that the tail can be posed differently if you had a few of them. Hunting together, you can give each one its own individual look. I love the short little arms. This figure is fantastic.
Dude, these arms are crazy. And even they have a little bit of motion here, but I just love them. They're like the cutest little arms you could possibly imagine. Honestly, they just look like little hands just sitting there like this, just downwards. It's so hilarious that they look like human hands on this dinosaur. But that's the way it goes, that's the way it is. And I love them, and I love how small they are. I had a friend recently point out one of the T-Rex toys and be like, oh, look at how tiny those arms are. And I'm like, hey man, wait a second. Hold on. Let me show you this Carnotaurus. It's crazy small. But this is another one. Like you said, it's got so many, points of articulation as well. It has these legs that kind of widen and go back inside, but they also go. You can do like a straight up split with these things. You can go any direction with them. It's fantastic. I mean, they even go surprisingly above the dinosaur, which is weird. You would never do that, but for kids, stuff like that is fun. But I do like this like access on them too, and even the tail, like the spiral ability on this thing. You can spin this thing 100% around, but also side to side. It's very cool how it does all that. And the neck motion is very awesome. I love how smooth it is. It looks realistic. You can do these like little head bobs, like it's sort of walking around, and just like doing this thing, and then biting and snapping back. If you press it all the way down, it kind of does that little snapping noise. But I love this thing. I think it's one of the most perfect ones I've ever seen.
Yeah, you mentioned that you could take its legs and move it, back almost like it's laying down. And I think what would be so cool is if there was like a flatbed truck that you could this Jeep here has like a hinge on the back. What's the word I'm looking for? It's got like where you could almost like attach a trailer or something.
Yeah.
And put this guy on a flatbed and drag him from, one paddock to the next, or take him to the vet, in your Jurassic World or something like that. This is such a great toy. This is the first one I picked up. The hinges on the feet are a little weird. I don't think they spin. When I try to do it, there's a little bit of resistance, I'm hesitant.
They spin. Mine are spinning.
They spin all the way around?
Yeah, it does do a little snap. You hear like a little snap initially, but then it doesn't do it anymore. So I don't honestly know if I'm like unscrewing them, but
I think you might have broke yours.
Maybe. So just keep it the way it is on yours. But mine does feel a little loose, so maybe I broke it, but it's still fine.
Yeah, it's a fantastic toy.
Still
I think
stands.
The paint application is great. You got that 3-tone colors. You got the white belly with the burgundy body with the dark burgundy spots and stripes, and it's such a good blend. There's no like hard lines really on this model. All the little spikes, the little knobs on its back and on its the side of its neck, such great detail. The horns are really, really cool. They've got kind of like a worn look to them as far as like sculpting goes. This is just a fantastic toy.
Yeah, and I'm doing something a little bit silly here. I'm making this mercenary ride the Carnotaurus. Why not? Because you can. Because there's so much articulation that it's easily possible. Look at that. That's fun. And he's going to go for a nice little jaunt with it. Oh, and he fell off. But, dude, I absolutely love this toy so much. It's got the Jurassic Facts app as well, so you can kind of put that thing in there into the app and collect all those different dinosaurs. And there's such a wide variation of them that it just makes you want to keep buying them. So I do love that app is kind of included on all these toys.
Yeah, the app is something that I didn't think I was going to get into. I think I was on the podcast at one point like, whatever, an app. Sure, that's nice marketing, I suppose. But I'm telling you what, I'm addicted to that stupid circle that fills up every time you scan one of the figures. I'm about halfway, which I feel like is probably almost all that's out right now compared to what they've shown online. Because definitely not everything is on the shelves, I've noticed. It seems like there's going to be a second wave coming later. But yeah, what we've got so far is a great start. And these are, 3 great toys to start with.
Yeah, man, I love these ones. I think this was a great choice to do these ones first because it gives you a broad range and, you got your vehicles, you got your human figures, and you got some awesome dinosaurs. Each one of these items are very good. I think there's even better humans, that we've yet to review so far. So I'm super excited to dive into all of these items, as many as we can. We're going to be doing some more of these for sure. And like you said earlier, we're going to dive into this like as a group and get a bunch of people on the podcast and talk about these together and not just review each item, but kind of review the entire thing as a whole. Yeah,
I think what would be a nice plan would be, is if, we reviewed individual items, and then I would love to do like a giant discussion, kind of covering Mattel in general and what everyone appreciates about the collection overall, or maybe don't appreciate about the collection. Not sure. But yeah, we're off to a great start, and I look forward to doing more of these.
Yeah, man. So why don't we cut it short here? I mean, we've been going for 36 minutes, and I think we did a good job reviewing these items. We'll probably get into more detail, like you said, on a lot of this stuff. But for now, check out the video on YouTube and find more podcasts on our website. Go to JurassicParkPodcast.com. Find all the information there for upcoming podcasts, for past podcasts. Everything is on there. Find us on iTunes, on Google Play, at Jurassic Park Pod on Twitter, at Jurassic Park Podcast on Instagram. And Aaron, where can we find you?
You guys can find me at Aaron D. Beyer on Twitter.com. Twitter.com. What am I like? I must be in my 30s.
Hey, old guy.
You can on Twitter, and then also you can check out the latest films I've worked on IMDb. Just search for Aaron D. Beyer.
Nice, dude. Well, like I said, we'll join up again soon. Thanks for coming on here, and enjoy, everybody. Make sure to visit JurassicParkPodcast.com to find all our past episodes, brand new news articles, information on how to contact us, and much more. It's a great source for everything related to the podcast and, of course, Jurassic Park and Jurassic World. Head to JurassicParkPodcast.com and help us build a great community.
Anybody hear that? 5 minutes. Drop what you're doing and leave now.